Hey, this is your boy Rickey Smiley. Out here at the StarDome, sitting in the dressing room. Again, Pastor Solomon, thank you. I'm just excited about the opportunity. I hope those kids get what they need. And it's just been an absolute pleasure. Probably about to put tears in my eyes. I've just been kind of real emotional this week. It's been a real emotional week. And I know it's been a lot of pressure in the middle of campaign season and everything that's going on. I just thank God for his grace and his mercy and being put in a position so I can give and I can help you blessed to be a blessing. I know you were saying thank you and just being meek and grateful or whatever. I'm just grateful to serve. I just thank God for balance. I thank God for balance. Could have went to moved to LA and did TV shows and movies, but just to be able to do what I like to do, radio every day I'm up anyway, to be able to have some kind of influence on, positive things in the community, to help people, to help kids, to sow into different ministries, to do little stuff at a small level is good enough for me. So I'm just a humble servant. That's the way I was raised. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to serve. Just the fact that I found out on my own what you were doing and decided to support it. Those are the people that I like to help, not people that's coming in the inbox with a agenda and stuff. I like to let God use me in his own way and point me in a direction to help who he wants me to help. So I just do it and I'm proud to do it. But my work is nothing compared to yours, Pastor Solomon. You actually get on a plane and sit on that long flight and fly all the way to another continent and go out there and inconvenience yourself. And I don't know where you go. I'll never see no hotel. I don't know where you stay when you go out there. I don't see how you induce and, everybody that you have taken with you, do what you do. I'm definitely going one day. Radio just have you so tied up. But when I retire from radio, that's on the top of my bucket list is to go over to the continent of Africa and figure out what needs to be done. I'm going out there with you, and we're going to complete all of this stuff. And I'm going to do some stuff with Delilah. Delilah has a school out there somewhere. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to support her as well. So I'm just excited about doing things over in the continent of Africa. Hell, I might end up moving over there. Depends on what happens after tomorrow. I'm just kidding. But there you go. There you go. Hope y'all having a blessed day. Make sure y'all get out and vote. Thank you.
Did you really want me to talk to you? Now, when I was young, honey, in church, we had an organist by the name of Lamar Cox.
Yes,
and baby, when Lamar would play that song, Rick, I never knew men fainted. And when he would play that song, he would faint.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's a very old song, because after Jesse Wood I know he would make a way somehow.
Brat, I just wanted to send that out to our grandmothers this morning.
Man.
Yeah. I'm so proud to play that song this morning. And it's just the words, man. You've been through stuff, man. God always make a way. Brett, everything you've been through in your life, and look how God brought you all the way back around. Everything that's going on in your life and your career, and when people turn their backs on you and people write you off, and God just always make a way. He makes a way for his children because he know you He know your heart, and we had praying grandmothers in heaven speaking on our behalf. Go ahead, Pastor Haynes. Good morning, man.
Oh, Rickey Smiley, you already preaching, man. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Man, I know the Lord will make a way.
Yeah, man. Well, you sure helped us because in light of all that's going on in this world and the fact that we got this election day, so many of us are anxious and we are worried about how things are going to turn out. But this song is just what we needed to hear, and that is, if you're anxious about how things are going to turn out, this song says, listen, quit tripping. I know the Lord will make a way somehow. And let's be real, we get anxious. We do worry. When you worry, you feel like you're being pulled in different directions. Someone said that worry is advanced interest that you place on troubles that may never come. And so we all experience that. We wonder how things are going to turn out. We wonder if they will work out. But Brat and Rickey have a testimony. Their grandmothers are shouting already because they know the Lord will make a way somehow. What does that mean? It means, number one, that God is a way when you don't see a way. You see, when you are trying to figure stuff out, God is behind the scenes working stuff out. And before you know it, you look up and God has come through. And when God comes through, God has a way of doing it while you're going through, going through hell and high water, while you're going through difficulties, while you're going through a crisis. God comes through while you're going through. And when God comes through with peace. God comes through with protection. God comes through with provision. And before you know it, those who did you wrong, watch God do you right. And when God does you right, it overturns what everyone else has done that has been wrong. And so I know it's election day. I know we're anxious. We're wondering how things are going to turn out. I got a word for you. I know the Lord will make a way somehow. That means you do what you can and watch God handle what you can't. I know the Lord will make a way somehow. It means when you handle your anyhow, God will come through somehow.
Come on now.
So go ahead, vote anyhow, and watch God come through somehow. God will make a way somehow. And then, Rickey, I love how they punctuated. Yes, he will.
Yes, he will.
Yes,
sir.
He will.
Pastor Haynes, I'm finna let it run again, Pastor Haynes. I can't help it this morning.
Come on.
Man, thank you, Leo Taylor, for this, man. I love you, man. Oh, this just blessed my whole life this week. I've been playing it every 5 minutes. Here we go, y'all.
News headlines.
Entertainment. Sports. It's the front page on the Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
All right, y'all, Rickey Smiley Morning Show. It is election day. Get out and vote. Make plans to get out and vote, man. Got your front page right here. 13 minutes after the hour. Eva Knievel, good morning.
Good morning, Rickey. Good morning, everyone. I'm your girl, Eva Marcille, here with a quick look at your front page news. So Election Day is finally here. And President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden held their final rallies last night. Nearly 100 million people have already voted, and another 100 million are expected to cast their ballots today. Biden is holding on to an upper single-digit swing nationwide, but his lead is much smaller in battleground states. Some states are not legally allowed to begin counting ballots until Election Day, even if they came in earlier. Plus, with so many mail-in votes to count, we may not have results tonight. Now, we have a huge show for you guys today. It's extremely packed on this Election Day. There's Al Sharpton, Stacy Abrams, Eric Holder, Attorney General Keith Ellison, and Angela Rye will be joining us on the show today. So please... Oh, and we're going to replay our interview with Joe Biden. So keep listening.
Awesome.
That's what's going down in your news. And the front page look. Rock teasy, oh sheezy. What's going down in sports?
Well, man.
I'm sorry.
I am too.
They threw that stuff at you at the last minute.
Yep.
Yeah, we have to move stuff around.
Say what, Eva?
We have to move some stories around just for time because we have a lot today. So it was,
say this
it was
real quick.
a lot.
Say this real quick.
Right.
Let's do that again. Rock teasy, oh sheezy. What is going down in sports?
Man, I don't even know if I want to mention this part in sports, but doggone it. Donald Trump, he at it again. He got a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. He get the whole crowd talk. They start chanting, LeBron James sucks. LeBron James sucks because Donald Trump is saying the NBA, the numbers was down low and they shouldn't have been playing, but they should be standing for the national anthem. And he talking about the NFL. The viewership is low, and if you're not going to stand for the flag, then he's not going to watch, and he's never going to watch, and he's telling everybody else not to watch, and he got the whole crowd chanting. Man, come on, go somewhere with all that bull crap. Today is the day to change all of that, all right? So get out there and express your right to vote. Monday Night Football, Tampa Bay beat the Giants last night. Tampa Bay 6-2, and current wide receiver Antonio Brown moved in with Tom Brady. So not only did he sign a one-year deal, he's living with Tom Brady. So this is Tom kind of being big brother mentor to Antonio Brown.
I think that's really admirable and nice. That's
absolutely.
Really that's now, man. Please act right, Jesus Lord.
Yeah.
I just be pulling for people, man. Somebody step up and try to offer you any type of mentorship. Man, take advantage of it and be the best you could be. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. That says a lot about Tom Brady. Last but not least, man, well, we'll talk about it next hour. Gary, what you got, man?
All right, y'all. Everybody's excited. Today is voting day, y'all. Now, they're saying, y'all, if y'all didn't notice, that Hollywood stars, y'all, have been some of the most vocal American citizens, y'all, stressing the significance of voting in 2020 presidential election. They saying, wow, honey, they are doing so in a very public way on social media. Some have revealed, y'all, listen to this, some have revealed that this year is the first time ever that they have ever casted a vote. And guess who in particular? Snoop Dogg, y'all. Snoop Dogg admitted, y'all, that he didn't vote in the past election because he thought he wasn't allowed to for having a criminal record. Now, they're saying for many years he said that he was brainwashed thinking that he couldn't vote because he had a criminal record. And he said who has guns and drug convictions going back to his high school days, though he said his record has been expunged, and he said, you know what? He is voting today. Isn't that nice? Job.
Yeah.
Good for him, y'all. I mean, and there's so many other celebrities that are going to be voting today. I'm going to tell y'all later on during the show. But congratulations to Snoop Dogg. Today is going to be his first time voting ever. All right, the color today is one of my favorite colors. My color today, y'all, is fired brick. On the high end, you say fired brick, and on the low end, you say beautiful brown. That's your color for today. Brad, what's coming up next in the hot spot?
Coming up next in the hot spot, Donald Trump calls out Jay-Z and Beyonce during the rally. I'm going to tell y'all about it up next. It's the Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
The hot spot.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
So hot
And that's hot. You can catch me at the hot spot. It's the BR18.
All right, y'all. Rickey Smiley Morning Show, 29 before the top of the hour. Hey, it's time for the hot spot. What up, Brat?
What up, Ricky? What up, everybody? Good morning and happy voting day. Woo! Make sure you get out there and vote. Right about now, we're going to bring up the hot spot because we got the music, movies, and more for you. So here we go. Let's get off into this thing. Well, y'all, became a tradition for Beyonce to take political sides on the eve of the presidential election, and that's exactly what she did yesterday in preparation for today's election. In an Instagram post, you see her wearing a mask that clearly states her Democratic choice of Biden and Harris. The GIF image shows Beyonce pulling down her flop hat to reveal her sticker stating, "I voted." Now, with Texas in play for this presidential race like never before, Beyonce cut straight to the chase with her message. Come through, Texas, vote. She said it wasn't her only political post. Another stated the most important drop is at the ballot box, honey. Vote. Yes, she did. And I commend her for that. That's what's up. Well, y'all, Donald Trump called out Jay-Z and Beyonce during the rally in Pennsylvania yesterday. He just got to mention us and what we doing. Anyway, after Beyonce officially endorsed Biden and Kamala Harris, Trump told his supporters in Scranton, they got Beyonce, they got Jay-Z. He continued on Jay-Z and said he started using the F word. You remember? He was using the F word, F word, F word. So Trump was referring to when Jay-Z and Beyonce headlined the performance at Hillary Clinton's Ohio rally during her run for presidency. And also during the rally, Trump supporters were also heard saying LeBron sucks. But we don't care what they say or what they do. Why he even got to mention Beyonce and Jay-Z?
Because he don't have no message. He don't know how to campaign, and he don't have no closing argument for 200 and something people, almost 200 some thousand people dead from coronavirus, which he did not act on, and you know he's just not doing well, so he's desperate.
Exactly. And another great thing, y'all, last but not least, Eminem's hit song Lose Yourself is featured in a new ad for Joe Biden's campaign. The 45-second commercial titled One Opportunity was released yesterday and features footage of Biden and the vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris at the Michigan State Fairgrounds in Detroit. Eminem shared the ad on social media along with the caption, One Opportunity, #vote. So y'all make sure y'all get out there and vote. It ain't no excuse. Get out there and do it. You got the opportunity. People died for you to get out here and express yourself. Get out there and vote. Stand in line. Get your sandwich. Take your drink. Whatever you need, go do it. All right, y'all. Coming up next, we're going to be talking to Reverend Howard John Wesley. Did I say it right? Reverend Howard John Wesley. And we got the wake-up calls. It's 866-9-RICKEY. Hit us up, y'all, at 1-866-9-RICKEY. The time now is 26 minutes before the top of the hour. It's the Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Go vote.
All right, y'all, Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Hey, it is election day. Big day, y'all. Y'all been waiting. It seems like you've been waiting your whole life for this day, man. Today marks one of the biggest elections of our lifetime. And I think that this man said it best in his speech titled, When You Don't Vote. One of my all-time favorites. He has been on the front lines fighting voter suppression. And you heard his voice on this show every single day. At the top of the hour for weeks from the Alfred Street Baptist Church, Alexandria, Virginia. Y'all please welcome Reverend Dr. Howard John Wesley.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, man, happy to have you this morning, especially, today, your speech is, we will see. You know what I'm saying? It's about to go down. It's about to go down today, Reverend Wesley.
Yeah, it's here, Ricky. This is the day we've been waiting for, praying for, and actually been in line for, and I pray early voting for. If you're listening today and you haven't cast that vote, do not talk yourself out of it. This is the moment. This is it. We are at a crossroads, Ricky, and we got to do what's right. This man should have no chance of being reelected if we stand up and do what we're supposed to do today.
Right. Now, 4 years ago, according to some polls, Hillary Clinton had an 85% shot at winning the election. Now, why is it so important that people stay steadfast, head over to the polls and stay until their vote is cast?
That's right. Number one, we can't trust in those polls. We saw what happened 4 years ago when there was supposed to be, he was supposed to have no chance of being elected, and people sat out the election. I think that there were a lot of folk who were disgruntled with Hillary and made a decision that they were not going to vote. We saw the numbers of people who did not vote, and a lot of us were shocked 4 years ago when we woke up on that Wednesday morning to find out not only who our president was, but I hope you've seen what the last 4 years have brought us. And Ricky, we cannot and we should not volunteer ourselves for another 4 years of a lack of concern for general well-being and health and a lack of concern for black lives totally. So this time we've got to get out. Let's not take anything for granted. Let's do what we got to do, and let's go on and change everything up today so that tomorrow is the opening of a new beginning in American history.
Wow, you said that. Good morning. Now, Reverend Wesley, now, if somebody requested an absentee ballot but did not send it in, how can they make sure that their vote is still counted today?
Well, you know what? I'm glad you asked that because I requested an absentee ballot. And then when I heard all the shenanigans that may be happening with people challenging whether those ballots can be counted afterwards, I decided to go to the poll myself. And you're given what's called a provisional ballot. And as long as your absentee ballot has not been sent in, they will count your provisional ballot. So listen, if you got an absentee ballot, it's too late to send that in. Don't let it be challenged in a court ruling. Go down. If you get that provisional ballot or if you go to the voting place, your ballot will be counted. So it's too late to turn those absentees in. Let's go down to the polls and do what we have to do.
Speaking of the polls are just starting to open up right now in some cities. So if someone runs into a situation at a polling location like last year where lines were being held up, what should they do?
Listen, that's a great question. Before you go to the polls, I want you to Google voter suppression in your local area. There are phone numbers for every state, for every county that you're supposed to call or text if you run into any voter suppression tactics to make certain that your right to vote is not challenged. And remember this, no one outside the polling place can challenge you. The only people who can legitimately challenge you are poll workers, and they are obligated by law to uphold
the voter laws of your state. So do not be intimidated by anyone outside of that school, outside of that voting location. Listen, I know I'm a preacher, but you need to tell some people just shut and keep on going inside and then get your vote cast.
Right. Speaking of being a preacher, Reverend Dr. Wesley, now most people would agree we want a president that don't just hold up the Bible and talk. We want somebody who actually walks the walk. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, listen, when that happened, to me, it was just the epitome of the hypocrisy of this administration, and to know that there's a white evangelical Christianity that believes this man is the representative of Christian faith is ludicrous to me. Listen, you can be a Christian and vote for Trump, but don't tell me you're voting for Trump because you're a Christian. Those two just don't line up. That's hypocritical.
Hey, while Super Day find that little girl clip, I want you to hear just a quick snippet of it. What is it? What do you say to the young black man that's confused and misinformed and probably sitting in Dade County, which we really need to come out? What do you say to that young man that's kind of disgruntled and really not a Biden and Harris fan and just a conspiracy theorist? What do you say to that young man that's listening right now?
Listen, I understand that may be a thought in your mind, but there's something, Ricky, I believe called the eye test. Trust what you see. As you look across America, what do you see? Do you see justice for black people? Do you see a president who's even mentioned the name of Breonna Taylor, even mentioned the name of Ahmaud Arbery? Think about what's happening to people who look exactly like you and trust what your eyes show you. Let's not buy into this conspiracy stuff, because if you down in Dade County, brother, if you don't get out and go vote, trust me, this is going to continue. So if you care about black lives, if you care about justice, if you care about your future and your family's well-being, you've got to go out and cast this vote. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Don't buy into the hype, because that's what they want. They want you to believe the conspiracy theories and stay at home.
Hey, in a few minutes at the end of your speech at the top of the hour, there's a little girl, I don't know if anybody shared it with you, that did your whole entire speech. And yeah. If you could just stay by your radio for a couple of minutes, I'm gonna play it.
We got to be able to hear his reaction, though.
yeah. We'll call. Hey, look, what we'll do, we'll call you back and get you on the phone, because I really want you to hear this.
I really do. Ricky, do me a favor, all right?
Yes, sir.
I know you don't take too many requests, but I got a song that's been in my heart all day long, like since I've woken up, and I'm going to be listening to it all day as we go to these polls. It's simple. It's by Beyonce. It's called Irreplaceable. Go ahead and get gone. Pack up your stuff and go on. Get out of here. Irreplaceable. I can have another you in a minute.
Man, I know that's right. Oh, man, we will definitely be playing that. We'll play it right after your speech. Hey, man, we absolutely love you, man. Thank you so much, man, for being a voice for the people, man. And we love you. And I've been watching some of your sermons this week as well, so I feel like I'm a member of your church.
Well, come on, man. Go and send that tithe, Ricky.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hold on. Don't hang up. I got something for you. Just give me a second. All right, y'all. More Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Pastor Howard John Wesley on with us this morning. More Rickey Smiley Morning Show coming up.
Hold it. Half man, half woman. It's Gary. I wanna hip you to the T. It's Gary, baby.
All right, Rickey Smiley Morning Show. It is election day. 8 minutes after the hour, y'all. Gary T is being brought to you by Protect My Car. That's right. You can stop in for car repairs. Get protected before your rent repair bill hits. Dial 800-594-7160. That's 800-594-7160. Hit them up on your mobile phone now. What up, Gary?
Good morning, Ricky. Good morning, America. Good morning to you. It's Tuesday, a beautiful election day in America. And here's what's happening in celebrity news, y'all. A lot of celebrities, y'all, are voting for the first time. Some thought they couldn't vote. Some just said they didn't vote. In particular, Snoop Dogg, he said he is voting for the first time today because he was a convicted felon. Although now his record is expunged, but he said he didn't know he could vote. He said he thought because, he had all this crime going up against him and what have you, that he couldn't vote. But he found out that, yes, you can vote, Snoop. So Snoop is voting today for the first time. Also, Tyler, the Creator, the 29-year-old rapper, he went to Twitter to discuss his decision to vote. Y'all, he's saying this is his first time doing it. Now, he did a 2-minute video, and he told his fans, quote, "I see the light," and he urged his fans, y'all, to go to the polls and cast a full-in vote. He said that's what he's doing today, y'all. And a sad day, y'all, for Ice Cube, honey. Now, they're saying Ice Cube may be filing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Saturday Night Live, y'all, for the joke that they're saying that it was a joke about rappers supporting Trump. And, allegedly, Ice Cube supported Donald Trump as well as Lil Wayne. But he's saying, y'all, that first of all, they tried to reduce him to being greedy. And that's what Ice Cube said, and he's very angry about it. And he may be filing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Saturday Night Live.
Sketch?
Well, because he said they accused him of being greedy. Trying to make him like he was a greedy person or whatever, And they did a real bad little thing, honey, against him. This kid comes.
Was it funny? Did anybody see it? Kate, Eva, y'all saw it?
Yes, I saw a little
What you think?
of it.
I didn't see it.
I'm a big Ice Cube fan, and I think that he was used as a pawn in this, and so I could understand his frustration, but it's SNL. It's like what they do.
Yeah, they jump on whatever's trending, So
and that was trending.
It was to be
Kenan
expected.
Thompson. Yeah, but, they hurt Ice Cube, and I kind of feel bad for him.
But what's trending that they hadn't jumped on yet, Gary?
What?
These nuts.
Got him. Yes, sir. The color today, honey. Yeah. The color today, honey, is
What?
The color today is 5 brick, honey. On the high end, just say 5 brick. On the low end, say brown. Eva, don't laugh at that, honey. That's not very wholesome.
Jump on Eva. Holla at your boy, Eva. I tell you what's trending. Y'all want to know what's trending? I'll tell you what's trending.
Go to commercial.
What did you say, Brat?
I said Come on, harmony.
Oh, man. If you want to see these, you can call me right now, 866-9-RICK. I'm just kidding. For your wake-up calls. Call me for your wake-up calls, 866-9-RICK. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. All right. Here we go. Time for the wake-up call. Let's go.
Wake up, Cleveland, Ohio. This is Tracy in Madison telling all these super woke people, come on now, wake it up, get to the polls.
It's time to get President Obama's legacy back on track. Let's take America back again. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Good morning, my name's Jackie. I'm calling from Dallas, Texas, and get out and vote.
Hey, this is Billy from Houston. I want to tell all my fellow black Americans, get up and go vote.
Wake up, America, get up and let's go vote. Biden and Harris, let's get it.
This is Dennis from Newport, Florida. Wake up, America, and go vote. Vote, vote, vote.
It's a whole gang of cities tuned in, locked in. What's yours? Cause we gon' let them know. Say Gainesville, wake up. Meridian, wake up. And Greenwood, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. When you at Dallas, wake up. In Chicago, wake up. ATL, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
All right, it is election day. Thank you, Brat.
The Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
It's the front page news. It's what's trending now.
I am so excited, ladies and gentlemen. We are encouraging everybody to get out and vote today, and there are several swing states up for grabs this year, and one of them is the state of Georgia. And our next guest, former Georgia Congresswoman and candidate for governor, lawyer, activist, and author. Y'all please help me welcome Stacy Abrams.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
Thank you so much.
Your name is everywhere, and people are so excited about the things that you have done in the state of Georgia after the election was stolen from you. I can go ahead and say that. That's just me. Just charge that to me. Oh, that's just my own personal opinion. I'm so excited to have you this morning.
Thank you.
Yes. So what are you feeling and seeing on the ground today? Especially with some of the programs that you implemented in the state of Georgia. What are you seeing and hearing today?
We are excited. We are seeing a lot of intensity. We had record turnout in early voting. We had 3.9 million people cast their ballots. And in 2016, only 4.1 million people cast their ballots in total. So we're going to definitely beat that record. But what's so exciting is that we have seen more African-American voters, younger voters, voters from communities that usually get ignored, turning out and engaging and we're excited. Now, here's what we're worried about. We want people to know that there are likely going to be lines, but we need people not to panic and not to leave the line. So once you get in line, if you can stay, please do. We know some folks are going to be at the wrong polling place because we've had to expand the number of polling locations to cut into those lines and because of COVID. And if you have any questions about your precinct, go to iwillvote.com, iwillvote.com, and you can find out exactly where you need to go and vote.
Right. Now, go ahead.
I'm sorry. The race for president is tight in Georgia, but so are other races. Please let us know how important the Senate and congressional races are in Georgia and what's on the line.
Absolutely. So Georgia not only can send 16 electoral college votes for the president, but we've got 2 U.S. Senate races, the only state in the nation with 2 Senate races. And that means we can help flip control of the Senate by sending John Ossoff to take the seat that's currently occupied by David Perdue. And we can send Raphael Warnock, the pastor at Ebenezer Baptist Church. He will be the first black senator in Georgia history, and he can help make certain that we have the type of justice and restoration of civil rights and civility that we need. We also have the chance to send Lucy McBath back, as well as Carolyn Bordeaux, and we have the chance to flip the state house so that we have a seat at the table when it comes to redistricting.
Exactly. Now, Ms. Abrams, voter turnout has been off the charts. We know that. We know that voter suppression is also real, and you talk about in your book, Our Time Is Now, Power, Purpose, and the Fight for a Fair America. What does voter suppression look like in 2020, and what should people look out for when they go to the polls today?
So overall, voter suppression is 3 things. Can you register and stay on the roll? So if you get to a place and they tell you you're not registered, make certain you force the issue, ask them questions, and try to get a provisional ballot. The second is, can you cast your vote? Today, since in most states, including Georgia, you're going in person to cast your ballot. If you're at the wrong precinct, if they can give you the right information, go to your right precinct. But if you are at the end of the line and it's 7 p.m., then ask for a provisional ballot. Your vote may not count for everything, but you will at least get to vote on the federal issues. So stay in line. And then the third is, does your ballot get counted? We've got millions of Americans who've gotten absentee ballots that they haven't turned in yet. And today is the day to get those in. Today is last call for voting. So find out if you need to take it to your county elections office. If there's a drop box, do not put it in the mail. You need to carry that like you're bringing the election. You're bringing the offering plate. You need to put it in yourself. Don't trust anybody. Put it in yourself to make sure it gets counted. In a lot of states, you can, if there are mistakes made, you can cure your ballot. It's called fixing your ballot. It's called curing it. So check online to make sure your absentee ballot got counted. And if there are any mistakes, pay attention, because you have usually 3 days to go and fix any mistakes that you made so your ballot counts.
And there's a lot of talk about not knowing who the clear winner will be tonight. So we know that your run for governor of Georgia was a very highly contested election. Given your experience, what advice would you give to voters who may have to wait for a final decision on this election?
Be patient. We'd rather have it be slow and right than fast and wrong. And that's what they tried to do to us in 2018. They wanted to speed us through this process. And when they go fast, that means that they're not letting you correct your absentee ballot. They're not counting those provisional ballots, people who didn't make a mistake but for some reason couldn't get a real ballot. Every moment that we take to count additional votes, it means more Americans are being heard in this process. And we are a democracy not because we go fast, but because we go right. And we need people to get it right tonight. So I encourage patience, and let's get the right answer. If it's Wednesday, if it's Thursday, but let's not push for an answer tonight just because we want to soothe our anxiety. I'd rather soothe the future than soothe my anxiety.
Right. I know that's right. Hey, thank you so much for everything that you have done. It's always a pleasure having you on the show, and thank you for your tireless work and the way you represent us. We hope that you run in 2022. I know it's a little early. We got to focus on today, but I'm just throwing that out there. So thank you so much.
If I can add one more thing, I just want to give people one more number to call.
Yeah.
No matter where you are in America, because I know you reach everyone, we need folks, if you have any questions, there's a consortium of civil rights attorneys that have come together across the country. 866-OUR-VOTE. 866-OUR-VOTE. If you call that number, they can help you find your precinct. They can help you find the answers to your questions. And most importantly, they can give you the rules where you live so that you don't get out of line. 2 things today. Don't panic and don't leave. If we get those 2 things done, I think we're going to be seeing a victory that we can count on for the next generation.
There it is, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Stacy Abrams.
Woo!
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
There it is, Rickey Smiley. We got the one and only, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all give it up to show your love for National Action Network founder and president, Reverend Al Sharpton. Hey, Reverend Al.
Good morning.
Hey, happy to have you, man. Happy to hear your voice. We need to hear your voice this morning.
Well, we need to be hearing everybody's voice at the polls. People need to be hollering with their hands at the polls this morning.
Yes, sir. Now, the National Action Network hosted a youth huddle forum last night. In your opinion, what role will young voters, many voters voting for the first time, have on this election today?
They'll be critical because usually young voters do not vote in large numbers. But we've seen a year where we've seen them march in large numbers as we've had marches and rallies all over the country. We've had an enormous turnout of young people that have never been active before. That's why we had the session last night, and I came myself getting them fired up to ready to cover the polls today because they're voting for their own future. What happens with this pandemic, what happens with educational funds, it's about them. They're going to have to live with it longer than those of us that are older. So they're not voting not only to honor their ancestors. We like to talk about, remember those that died for the right to vote. Remember for those of you that have to live, if you don't vote, you're going to have to live with the consequences. So, yes, vote for Medgar Evers, but vote for yourself today.
Right. And now, you've been in this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eva.
No, you got it.
No, you got it. Go on, girl, go on.
Okay, so this election is not just about the president. So please stress again the importance of voting down the ballot for all the races in every single election.
No, you've got to vote all the way down the ballot. In fact, I tell a lot of people, Eva, to vote from the bottom to the top. Because, as for example, we marched around George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and all. When we get legislation passed and the federal government sends the resources or sends the laws down, they're enforced or the resources are distributed by people at the bottom in city government and municipal government. So if you don't have the right people down at the bottom in state and municipal government, they will block what was done at the top. The president doesn't run your local police department. The president don't run your local school system. They set the laws and do the overall. It's the local officials do it. So you have to have the local officials to do what has got to be done. It's like if you're going to go eat, you need your mouth to swallow, but you need your hands to get the food to your mouth.
That's right. And Reverend Sharpton, there's been a lot of talk from Trump and his supporters about getting drive-through votes thrown out or not counting absentee ballots after the night. I mean, can he do that? And how can we stop this from happening?
Well, he can try, and I think the only definite way, I mean, there are a lot of legal ways that he will be stopped, and National Action Network is among the groups that will do it. But the only sure way is if there's so many votes, so big a number, there's nothing he can do with it. He can only try to play with it if it's close. If you make sure it's not close, there's no court that would even hear it because he'd be so far behind. They'd be packing his bags out of the White House while he's running around trying to find a judge crazy enough to listen to him.
Yes.
Wow. Now, you know, cities across the United States are bracing itself for unrest following this election. And we saw what happened with the Biden and Harris bus situation in Texas when they were harassing that bus. Is there a cause for concern depending on who gets their way? Reverend Al, what do you think will happen?
I think a lot of people are bracing just in case. But again, I think if it's a big vote, and the turnout is there, that even those on either side would have to just say we're being overwhelmed and there's nothing we could do about it. We need a wave of voters that comes out, that drowns out all of that nonsense. And I believe that if people do the right thing, you know, Ricky, if people just look at it, I was telling a young guy that stopped me the other day in the street when I was in Chicago. And he said, well, you know, Reverend Al, I really ain't got nothing to do with politics. I said, yes, you do. The clothes you're wearing, you bought at a store that a political council of some sort, appointed or elected, decided that store could do business in that zone. The house you live in, it was determined it could be zoned as a residential area. The food you eat is approved by Food and Drug Administration, which are political appointees. So whether you eat, where you sleep, where you go, is all a political decision made. If you got any self-respect, you'd want to have some decision on who's making those decisions, because you live by the results of them, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
You said that. Now,
You did.
if you're already, Reverend Al, if you're already in line when the polls close this evening, now they have to let you vote. So if people experience any type of voter suppression or issues at the polls today, what should they do?
If you are at the polls, don't leave. If you get there and they say they can't find your name, get a ballot, an absentee ballot, fill it out. Make sure you do not leave unless you vote. Make sure you don't get offline, no matter how late it gets, unless you vote. If you can stand on line to go in a club, you can stand in a line to stop being clubbed.
Yeah, I know that's right. I know that's right. Reverend Al, give the voter suppression hotline information one more time, and let people know how they can follow you.
Yes, you can go on, and first of all, the hotline for National Action Network. Anywhere in the country, if you have a problem, call us and we will try and troubleshoot it for you. 1-877-626-4651. 1-877-626-4651. And follow what we're doing at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And we'll keep you abreast. And always in the morning, listen to Rickey Smiley. You can get the best entertainment and information. I tell people in the morning, if Rickey Smiley's not on your radio isn't on.
Hey, you better tell them, Reverend Al.
Message.
Hey, love you, Reverend Al.
Love you.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all, more Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Get out and vote, man. I remember my mom playing this on the way to school on election day when I was a kid, man. This song right here, Wake Up Everybody. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Let's go. Black Tony, what's going on?
Hey, real talk, but let me speak on this right now, Rick. I'm telling you, Shawty, you got that picture of what I sent? Shawty, I text you a picture of my I voted sticker on my shirt, Shawty. You know, I did it. I voted. I did the early vote thing, Shawty. I went out there. I did it, boy.
Oh, you did?
And look, Shawty, I'm going to talk to all the folks out there that love Black Tony, boy. If you love Black Tony, you out here in these streets. Let me tell you something, boy. All the young black men that look like me, Shawty. Y'all need to get out there and vote, because Donald Trump ain't doing nothing good for us, Shawty. All the police out here shooting us. Police out here shooting us in the street. Black man, Donald Trump, he down with that, Shawty. He ain't trying to do nothing to fix that, Shawty. He ain't saying nothing about the black folks and getting shot by the police and all that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't right, Shawty. So y'all need to get out here and we need to do what we need to do, Shawty. They talking about black men supporting Trump, man. That's cap, Shawty. That's all the way cap. What are y'all talking about, Shawty?
I know ain't nobody supporting Trump in your hood.
But not now. But I'm talking about, but we went through the whole hood. We were talking to folks, Shawty. Jays, I'm talking players, scammers, everybody. We like, look, folks, we gonna get out here, we gonna vote, Shawty. We finna get rid of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump ain't got no love for the hood, Shawty. Ain't no love for the hood. How the hood gonna have love for Donald Trump? I don't care nothing about no Lil Wayne. I don't care nothing about none of them folks, Shawty. Y'all better get out here and do what you gotta do, Shawty.
Hey, what is Lil Wayne talking about? What's up with Lil Wayne? So I know you didn't Lil Wayne.
What's up with Lil Wayne? Funny looking at man. Tell me, he down with Donald Trump. But Donald Trump ain't down with you, boy. Donald Trump down with rich white folks. How they don't care nothing about you? He ain't saying nothing about Breonna Taylor. He ain't saying nothing about the dude up in Wisconsin. He ain't saying nothing about none of these folks. He ain't got no love for the hood.
And so, Black Tony, congratulations, man, on getting out and vote, man. You coming to work?
My first time ever voted, Shawty. It was my first time. And
that's good.
They both voted, Shawty.
That's good.
Hey, you
coming to work?
Oh, no, I ain't going to be at work, but I'm out here trying to help folks vote. I ain't going to make it today, Shawty. I'll let y'all. I get y'all tomorrow though, when we win.
That was a good message.
All right. Good message, though, Black Tony. All right, Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Hey, we are so excited. So what is looking like there?
Man, our turnout in South Carolina for black voters is higher than anything on the overall population. And we started having lines as early as 6 a.m. this morning.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Yeah, we've got a great turnout. And I just want to keep encouraging voters to show up at the polls. And we are still taking absentee ballots up until 7 p.m. tonight.
Right. Oh, that's good. That's some good information. So you're going to be checking in from a few locations this morning.
Correct. I will be checking in from a few locations. And I just want to encourage voters that if you're in line by 7 p.m., you will not be turned away. Do everything that you can to get to the polls. Do not speed. Make sure you buckle up. Follow all the traffic laws on the way to the polls. That way we can get your vote to count.
I know that's right. Hey, Sheba, thank you so much, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheba Foxx, our Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 107.3 Jams affiliate. Hey, appreciate you, Sheba.
Thank you, Ricky.
There it is, y'all. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. We have been telling you that your vote is critical when it comes to making significant changes in government. And a major part of government is the court system. And here to give us some insight into voter suppression and how your vote truly affects the way laws are carried out in this country. Please help me welcome, give a big round of applause, first time on this show, former United States Attorney General, Mr. Eric Holder. Ladies and gentlemen. Hey, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Now, as former Attorney General under President Obama, what concerns you the most when you think about another 4 years of Trump in the White House?
Well, there's a whole range of things. But first I'd say this. This is our last day to vote, so everybody don't sit on the sidelines. Get out there and vote. And I'm concerned about the perpetuation of these voter suppression techniques that have been put in place by the Republicans. You saw what happened in Texas, where they limited the number of ballot drop boxes. I'm concerned about protecting the right to vote. I want to have a more robust effort at criminal justice reform. There's a whole range of things that, unless we make a change and get rid of Donald Trump, we're not going to make progress, and we're going to see the same kinds of negative things done to people of color.
Right. Now, you've been very outspoken about voter suppression, Eric Holder. What are your thoughts on what's happening in Texas with limited ballot drop-off locations and efforts to dismiss over 120,000 ballots one day before the election?
Yeah, and it's just not, the president or the people at the national level perpetuating voter suppression. You've seen Republicans at the state level, just like Governor Abbott in Texas, like you said, fought to restrict early voting, cut the number of ballot drop boxes, then went into court to try to take the vote away from 127,000 people who had voted at a mobile station. They are afraid of the people who they say they want to represent. They are concerned that if too many people vote, they can't win. And that tells you everything you need to know about the two parties. Democrats say we want as many people to vote as is possible. Republicans say we want to pick who should actually have a chance to get to the polls. And for that reason alone, people need to get out and vote today and vote for Democrats, but up and down the ballot. It's not only about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. It's also about those people down ballot in state legislative races. They are extremely, extremely important. Vote down ballot and vote for Democrats there.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Attorney General Holder. Now, logic tells us that all voters, regardless of party affiliation, would be affected by the efforts that we've seen to limit mail-in voting during the pandemic. Now, what are Republicans saying about the notion of suppressing the votes of their own constituents?
Yeah, in some ways, that's a very good point, because a lot of their strategic people are actually kind of complaining quietly, saying, if you kind of somehow try to delegitimize voting by mail, you're going to hurt Republicans in states like Texas, where people 65 and above, Republicans have tended to use vote in mail, and especially in Florida, where they have used vote by mail as a tactic to generate the vote of their people. But I think what they've made the determination, they've seen that Democrats have made the very logical decision, well, it's a pandemic. I'm not going to risk my health. I'm going to use the mails. And they've made the strategic decision, although it might suppress a part of their vote, they think it'll have a much greater suppressive effect on Democrats, because Democrats are going to be the ones who are going to more typically use vote by mail this election day.
President Trump has been packing the courts with conservative judges across the country. And now we have a 6-3 conservative majority on the Supreme Court. How do you see this impacting the minority communities?
Yeah, I mean, that's, what they did is pretty diabolical. Mitch McConnell kept open 100 seats where President Obama wanted to fill those seats. Then he had those seats available for Donald Trump to fill, and so about 200 judges appointed by Donald Trump at the lower court level, then 3 Supreme Court justices. And these are people who will serve for life. The reality is that they are conservative. They are not going to be supportive of voting rights. They are going to take a dim view of criminal justice reform. They are not going to respect women's reproductive rights. There's a whole range of things. They cater to the special interest, therefore, corporate interests as opposed to the people. And these are people these judges will be there for, an extended period of time. And so another reason, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris are on the ballot, but the shape of the federal judiciary is also on the ballot. And progressives, Democrats, liberals, we need to understand that. We need to get real about, what our vote actually does. Not only elect the president, but you're also going to shape the federal judiciary that'll have an impact on our lives for the next 30, 40 years.
Wow. I just have to say, no Special K probably feeling the same way. It's just an absolute pleasure to be speaking to you on the phone. We've been following you ever since you've been with with President Obama's administration. And thank you for all that you do, ladies and gentlemen. Former United States Attorney General Eric Holder, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And let people know how to keep up with you and all of the work you continue to do.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. I'm the chairman of the National Democratic Redistricting Committee. And, we are trying to do away with partisan gerrymandering so that next year when we redistrict, we have a fair process. And so the Democrats will be treated, appropriately. But I got to tell you, this is our last day to vote. Don't sit on the sidelines in this election. If you want to respect those people who sacrificed, committed themselves, gave their lives so we'd have the opportunity to vote. If you want to change the present and if you want to shape the future, get out there today and vote.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Former United States Attorney General Eric Holder. More Rickey Smiley Morning Show coming up. All right, y'all. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Hey, it's about that time, man. It is election day. Make sure y'all get out and vote. Jeff Johnson got 3 things you need to know. Jeff, good morning.
Man, listen, we there, Rick.
Yes, sir.
And y'all don't listen to no polls. Don't watch the news. Don't do nothing until you're done voting. Right. Because if I hear one more commentator tell me what they think is going to happen tonight, I'm going to lose it. The bottom line is just go. Because here's what we do know, Rick. What we do know is that there's a whole lot of people that are so accustomed to a winner on election night. If certain things don't happen, either you're going to have Trump on one end calling for some kind of conspiracy or other folks that just don't know what the hell is going on. And so what we do know, Rick, is that there's some really interesting rules at play here, right? So you've got Florida that has the ability to start counting votes as early as 22 days before the election.
Right.
And so what's interesting is Florida could have a lot of its mail-in ballots already counted by the time they begin counting in-person ballots tonight. North Carolina and Georgia also have the ability to start processing early ballots early. And obviously those are road to win states for Trump. But they don't have a history of doing mail-in ballots. So we don't know what that's going to look like yet. Ohio also has the ability to process early ballots, which we know is always a critical state. And so, you know what we know will happen, Rick? We know that if people turn the hell out today in crazy ass numbers, then there could be a difference in the two candidates that's so big that they have the ability to call the election today. Right. But that's the only thing that we can be sure of, that unless there is a landslide of sorts, then there is not going to be a president announced tonight. So we gotta set our expectations, measure our expectations. But the first thing we got to do is get out there. So if you haven't gotten out there, please social distance, go to the polls. If you filled out your ballot already, make sure you take it and drop it off at the drop-off locations in the state per your rules. Last but not least, Rick, and I know that y'all have talked about this over and over and over again, but I don't think we can talk about it enough, and that's 866 Our Vote. If you get to the polls and you've been intimidated, if you get to the polls and you feel like you've been given inaccurate information, if you get to a place where they don't give you a ballot, then make sure that you get a provisional ballot.
Right.
Do not let anybody turn you away from the poll. And listen, the beautiful thing about 866 Our Vote is the fact that English, Spanish, I believe Arabic, as well as several Asian languages. So there's no reason for you, I don't care who you are, not to be able to get an attorney that can help you process whatever happens to you at the polls. But listen, you all, today is going to be decided by a couple of states. So I'm not telling anybody not to go, but Rick, you and I both know these battleground states are called what they are because they determine the election in an imperfect electoral college system.
Right.
And for those of you that talk all the time about the fact that Donald Trump didn't win the popular vote, he won the states he knew he had to win.
Right.
And that's what we got to talk about tonight. So if you are in Missouri, if you are in Wisconsin, if you are in Ohio, if you are in Pennsylvania, if you are in Michigan, your vote is not more important than anybody else's. But as it relates to the votes that you need to get, the 273, we need y'all to turn out like crazy. Those are three things I got for you, Rick. Go vote, y'all. Make this thing real. I'm so proud, Rick, of so many of the folks that made this thing happen and just surprised so many people, Collective PAC and other organizations that just turned our folks out in a real way. Rick, this can be a good one for us if we do what we need to do in the final hours.
Absolutely. Hey, Dade County, I need y'all to get out. Everybody, Broward, Dade County. Dade County. If y'all know anybody that live in Dade County, tell them, man, they really need to get out and vote because it could definitely be up to them. Jeff, Thank you so much, man.
Absolutely, brother.
That is y'all. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is a political correspondent for CNN, an attorney, and sits on the board of the Congressional Black Caucus Political Action Committee. Please welcome the Truth Bringer in Chief, Angela Rye.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Hey, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for coming on this busy election day. And today is the big day. What is your, and I'm just going to get started because we got a lot of questions for you. What is your primary message for those who's listening to your voice right now?
Well, first of all, to the Rickey Smiley team, I just want to tell you all how much it is such a great joy for me to be with you all this morning. It's always a pleasure. You all are missed, and there's nothing better than starting my morning off this black. It's got to be a very black day, so I'm happy.
Yeah. No, we happy you came on. Yeah. So all of the... Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You're like all of this excitement. Number one, the good morning piece. I appreciate the good morning. We need it to be a good morning, Ricky. We're speaking those things that are not as though they might be today. Right. We're just hoping to do our very best. I can tell you from being on the ground in cities in Detroit and Flint, in Durham, North Carolina, in Atlanta, Georgia, there is a lot of excitement, but there's also a lot of reluctance. And so we have to be able to power through that and meet people where they are, Ricky, right? We have to do that in the church. We have to do that at work. We got to do that at the polls. If people are not excited, that's okay. We need you to be practical. We need you to be thoughtful. We need you to be insightful about what could be. I know I woke up this morning with the same feeling of dread that I did in 2016. Why? Right. Because that's how I've been feeling for 4 years. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready for that feeling to go away. Right?
Me too.
It needs to go.
Angela, so a lot of people are concerned about the votes not being counted for days. Like, do you have any predictions on when a candidate will be able to claim a victory? What do you think?
Yeah, sis, I think the important thing for us to understand is that there are a lot of unknowns. And as frustrating as it is to sit with the unknowns, we got to sit with it. Because what I'm not going to do, as Ricky said, she's the truth bringer. If I get on here and lie to y'all going to be mad, right? I don't know the answer. Right. And I think that that's okay. It's frustrating, but here's what we do know. we know that we fought way too long and hard for the ability to vote. This morning, I woke up and watched John Lewis, and he talks about how the vote is sacred, right? And we have to remember that doesn't mean that we're lucky to be there. That doesn't mean that we're lucky to just be able to cast our vote, but it does mean we have to be a good steward over that basic right. And I think the other really important piece for us is to remember that when we don't know, we can ask questions. If you're experiencing any problems at the polls, folks should call 866-OUR-VOTE. If you want to know what's going on, we've got a 7-hour live stream on the Shade Room today, on BET today, on all of our social media platforms. I'm hosting that with Andrew Gillum. We've got some amazing guests. We got our own black pollster, y'all. We're going to tell you guys in real time what's going on from 5 p.m. to midnight Eastern. So what I can tell you, sis, is I might not know right now, but I promise to keep it all the way real with you all tonight, okay?
We know that.
Going forward.
So, Angela, there are more than 30 Senate seats on the ballot today as well. So what will it take to change the Senate majority?
So what it will take is, again, us going to the polls. Do you know there are 6 black folks running for these Senate seats today? That's what's important. We have the opportunity to not just make history, but ensure that our voices are heard in the United States Senate. We don't even make up 10% of the United States Senate demographics. That is almost criminal, right? And so we have to stop saying, why aren't we there? And then not saying, you know what? I didn't help to get us there. Jamie Harrison in South Carolina, Mike Espy in Mississippi, Adrian Perkins in Louisiana, Raphael Warnock in Georgia, and also John Ossoff ain't a brother, but he's kind of a brother, y'all. I don't know if you've heard him talk. But he's definitely got our best interests at heart. And Marquita Bradshaw in Tennessee. There are so many folks doing this work, and we got to support them when they're running, and not just pay attention to the top of the ticket, but all the way down ballot.
Right.
There are initiatives on the California ballot to end cash bail. People don't like the pathway. That's fine. There's a parolee opportunity for folks who are on parole to be able to vote, to be able to re-enfranchise and to exercise that franchise. So there's so much on the ballot. Minimum wage, right? Raising the minimum wage. There's all of that in states all over the country. So we got to pay close attention.
Okay, so Angela, Special K here. This is something that's been bugging me and Ricky especially, and it's a real problem. We've been talking about it all morning. What do you say to black men in particular, black men that are under the age of 50 for the most part, in key states like Florida, Texas, Georgia, and other battleground states that are, for whatever reason, supporting Trump? What do you say to these guys?
One, I would say I don't believe that that's really a big thing. I think that we started to focus on a small minority and people started getting excited about the attention they were receiving. I first want to say that. A lot of the folks who are saying they vote for Trump, I want to see their I voted sticker, son. Like, let me see you voted for that dude for real. And if they are really voting for him, what I would say is, you know, you just haven't paid attention over the last 4 years. Over the last 4 years, he's been very surgical almost in undermining everything that Barack Obama accomplished. To the folks who say Barack Obama didn't do anything for me, I would submit to you to go look at the African-American accomplishments doc. There's several pages from his administration. The thousands of people who were who received clemency and pardons under Barack Obama who also look like us. The number of judges who were appointed who look like us. To Donald Trump's one judge out of 236 appointed who was black. Out of Donald Trump's one criminal justice act that he took to fix what's been done already, only to understand that that was an executive order of Barack Obama that was then codified, that was then signed into law. We have to understand when people are selling us wolf tickets and overselling their accomplishments because there are so few, right? We know about other people that lie about the size of things. So it's the size of the accomplishment that we should be worried about. It's not true. It's not true.
Well, I am so grateful to you for coming on this morning with the energy, and I'm going to definitely be watching you tonight. You'll be on CNN tonight, right? You'll be. Well, yeah, where can we follow you tonight?
We're going to be doing this coverage from 5 p.m. Eastern to midnight. It's all black, Ricky. It's called Black America Votes. We're talking not only the Biden-Harris race tonight, we're also talking about those Senate seats we talked about. We're also talking about those ballot initiatives. We're paying attention because one thing we do so much, and I know you guys know this, we'll say, it's so important for you to vote the whole ballot. Pay attention to those state and local races. We're going to do that tonight. It's time for us to place emphasis on the things we're asking people to pay attention to. We're going to talk about whether or not Black people have been taken for granted and what our agenda should look like starting tomorrow. What do we need for ourselves? And I think that it's a good place to start is right after you go to the polls. Pay attention to what time your location's closed. Again, if you have any issues, call the lawyers. That's who's on the other side of 866-OUR-VOTE. And let us know. Tell us on social media because we can also help you, right? I think that's so important. But using hashtag Black America Votes 2020, stay engaged in the conversation with us all day long. I love you guys. Thank you for opening up this time. This is a great way to start the morning.
You know what? We love you too. We were all just talking off the air, like was so excited that you was coming on this morning. We just absolutely love and support you. And thank you so much for doing everything that you do. Let everybody know how they can follow you on social media. Give your social media handle right quick.
Yeah, so Angela Rye on Instagram. I don't know what it is on Facebook. You search for me, I guess. And then Twitter is Angela_Rye. That's that hyphen when you drop it low, Angela_Rye. And if you can't find that, I'll find you somehow. Thank you, guys.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, Angela Rye. All right. Joe Biden coming up next on the Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
Hey, Rickey Smiley, how you doing, man?
Hey, Vice President Joe Biden, how you feeling?
I'm doing well. I wish I was doing it in person with you. How you been?
Hey, I've been pretty good, and thank you for coming to the station, spending some time with us. Remember now, when you become president, you promised we were going to see Fleetwood Mac.
That's a promise. That's a promise.
I got a few questions for you.
Sure, fire away.
COVID-19 is just hurting a lot of Black and brown people, African Americans, and it seems like Trump doesn't have a plan to do anything about it. What is your plan, Mr. Vice President?
He doesn't have any plan to do about it. And the worst part we all now know is that he knew as far back as February, he went on tape with Bob Woodward acknowledging he knew how dangerous this was. He didn't say a darn thing to anybody. He didn't acknowledge it at all. And he later said he didn't want to panic the American people. They don't panic. The only people who panicked was him. And the other thing is that I started insisting way early on, as you remember, that we keep track of who is being infected by COVID and who is dying. Because I had spoken with the mayor of Detroit. I worked a lot of time up there helping bail them out. It's about 80% African American. I said, Joe, he said, African Americans up here, they are dying. They get it at 3 times the rate of white Americans, and they're dying at twice the rate. And it's because of a whole range of things that he was unwilling to pay any attention to. So the big fight was, first of all, keep the statistics. Make sure we know precisely who's being affected. Brown and Black people are being killed because and also they live in neighborhoods, by and large, that are susceptible to everything from the air pollution. They sit they're fence line communities on the other side of oil refineries and chemical plants and the like. And so he's done nothing about it. And then in addition to that, what's happened is he's come along, and if you notice, he has no plan. He put forward no plan to be able to open up schools, and particularly in Black and Latino communities where a mom may have a $6 an hour job, and she has to choose between taking the job and being able to stay home with their 4-year-old kid who, in fact, has no help. It's just been horrible what they've done.
Absolutely. And Black businesses have really, really been hit hard during the pandemic. Even before the pandemic, many Black businesses were struggling. So I would love to know a little bit about how, what is your plan to help small businesses and how it would be different for folks under a Biden-Harris administration?
Well, first of all, I've been talking about this now, as you probably know, for the better part of 4 months. Here's the deal. Right now, more than 400,000 small businesses have collapsed in the wake of this tragic mismanagement of the current situation. 75% of small businesses have been negatively impacted by the crisis. Over half of small businesses say that it'll take them more than 6 months to recover, if they can recover at all. 1 in 6 Black businesses have closed. People say, well, it's a tough environment. Guess what? It's in spite of the fact that the House of Representatives passed what they call the CARES Act, which provided for $2 trillion to help keep businesses afloat. But guess what happened? 60% of the money that was supposed to go to small businesses went to big businesses and corporations. You know, you hear United Airlines is being bailed out in billions of dollars, but small businesses aren't getting the aid. I have an answer how we can deal with some of this. There's a thing called a person called an inspector general, supposed to watch where every one of these dollars go. What is the first thing Trump did? Fired the inspector general. Fired. That's not a joke. Fired. So, number one, there's a lot of collusion going on here. That's totally wrong. And if I'm president, I'm going to appoint an inspector general to go back and follow every penny of that money and make those who, in fact, got it and shouldn't have paid back, and those who got it illegally be held accountable. But in addition to that, what I'm going to set up at the White House is navigators. One of the things we found out is whether if you are a minority business or any business for that matter, if it's small, you have a great idea. You don't have not only you have the resources to start, but even if you have the money, you don't have access to the accountants. I had a friend who used to say, Joe, you got to know how to know. You can go to the Library of Congress, one of the great libraries in the world. If you don't know how to access the card catalog, it's of no value to you. So we're going to provide the guidance to small business people or entrepreneurs as to how they get not their idea, but how they get the mechanical things that are necessary. What loan process do they have to go through? Who's the accountant? How do they make their presentation? What do you do in terms of that whole, and it's gigantic help when it occurs.
Real quick, this is a fun for free question. You at home Saturday night with your wife, Jill. Who are you listening to, Jodeci or the Isley Brothers?
Me, the Isley Brothers. That dates me a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vice President, Democratic nominee, future President of the United States, Joe Biden, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
News headlines, entertainment, sports. It's the front page on the Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
All right, y'all, Rick Smiley Morning Show, 28 minutes after the hour, y'all. Today is election day. Make sure y'all get out and vote. If you are out there in Dade County, we need everybody in Dade County to show. That's so important, man. That could flip Florida for us. Make sure y'all get out and vote. If you in Atlanta, Savannah, Macon, Georgia, Albany, Georgia, Augusta, Georgia, make sure, Valdosta, Georgia, make sure y'all get out and vote. Tallahassee, where you at? Make sure you get out and vote. Good morning.
Good morning, Ricky. Good morning, everyone. It is election day. It is finally here, and nearly 100 million people have already voted. And we are expecting another 100 million people to cast their ballots today. Biden is holding on to an upper single-digit nationwide swing, but his lead is much smaller in battleground states. Some states are not even legally allowed to begin counting ballots until election day. And with so many more mail-in votes to count, we may not have results tonight, but be patient. States have legally until December the 8th to count all votes. And if you're headed to the polls today, beware of Trump poll watchers. The bottom line is that poll watchers cannot interfere with the voting process. It is against federal law.
I hope I go to jail today. Please let one run across me today. Please, I want to go to jail today. I got so much rage and stuff filled inside of me. I wish Jesus, please send one to me today.
No.
Please.
We're not going to do it. Try Jesus. Don't try you.
Smiling like look.
No, we're not going to do it. Keep in mind,
I'm going to be
you guys,
smiling like Lil Darryl on that
Ricky.
mugshot. Please.
Come back, Ricky.
Please keep in mind that some states have very strict rules when wearing political attire to the polls and taking pictures or selfies while you're there. So everybody, listen up. Do not give them any reason to turn you away. Just go and cast your ballot. Now, quickly in other news, the CDC says that people who tested positive for COVID-19 or COVID-19 still can vote in person. Now, this comes after the coordinator for the White House Coronavirus Task Force, Deborah Birx, said in an internal report yesterday, quote, "We are entering the most concerning and most deadly phase of this pandemic." Birx pled with the White House to take much more aggressive action. And if you need any extra, really quickly to get to the polls, for one, if you need a ride, Uber is giving 50% off when you go to and from the polling place. So if you need a ride, hit up Uber and get that discount. And if you're hungry, Krispy Kreme is giving you a free donut with your I voted sticker. So that's your extra incentive. If you want a donut, go vote. Come on in. All right, that's
all
what's
the
going
people
down.
all the people on my 600-pound life, they finna get up out them beds.
Yes.
Dr. Yes, they finna go get that damn vote and go and get that damn one donut.
Go get that
and go
donut.
back to bed and watch the results.
Take 12 people to the polls with you and go to the Krispy Kreme and get yourself a good old dozen donuts. All right, well, that's what's going down in news. Rockteezy Fosheezy is in the streets. What's going down, Rockte?
Hey.
What it is, man? Hey, I'm out here in Dallas, man, putting it down. Let me tell you something. I pulled up on a voting. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Oh, cool. I pulled up in the Arlington Mansfield area, and man, listen, a full family came out of like 3 or 4 generations. The grandparents are out here, grandmother, grandfather, plus the parents, okay, plus the grandkids who are over 18, and they have a couple grandkids that's under the age of 5, but they're just tagging along. All out here taking up the experience. Everyone's standing in line. There's no drama. There's no commotion. Everyone's waiting their turn. And it's just beautiful to see, man. We coming out. And I'm at a location where there's not supposed to be a lot of us, but there are a lot of us.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing, man. So y'all get to the poll. Let's keep coming out. Let's make a change. Be the change, man. That's what we do. Rock, keep putting it down. What up, man?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Election Day. Make sure you get out and vote and listen closely because you do not want to miss this important information on how to protect your vote and avoid any trickery at the polls. Now, everybody know this voice right here. He really needs no introduction. Y'all, please help me give it up for the fly jock, Tom Joyner. Yes, sir. How you feeling, man?
Yeah. Hey, Ricky.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, we're excited to have you on this morning, and you got a whole lot of voter suppression going on.
You were on the air when we came up with this hotline number 1-866 Our Vote. It was during the 08 election. We came up with that number. If you see anything at the polls, any kind of trickery, any kind of intimidation, or any kind of foolish, like we ran out of paper or something like that, that number is still working, and lawyers are standing by to make sure that your vote counts. 1-866 Our Vote. Okay.
Hey Tom, did you ever think in a million years that the state of Texas and the state of Georgia and Arizona would come into play for that's just really up for grabs? You ever thought you would ever see that?
How about did I think I'd see a pandemic?
Right.
I mean, how about Black Lives Matter? You know, these are some times that are just so surprising, but feels good because I've been out here, stomping and protesting all my life, it seems, and to see everything come to this. I don't know what the voter turnout is going to be today, but it's going to be a record. And I remember when we set a record back when Obama was running. Oh my God. And I feel this, and I feel the same way. I don't think there are any undecided voters out there. I think anybody who says they're undecided is really voting for Trump. So, ladies, if you got a black man that says he's undecided, don't give him none because he's really voting for Trump. All right.
No, it's not at all. No clothes burned, nothing.
No, don't do nothing for him. Nothing. He's voting for Trump.
You called it.
He said, right. Take it from the fly jar. Tom Joyner said, don't give him nothing.
Don't give him nothing. Don't give him a damn thing. Don't give him the time of day. And black men voting for Trump, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real, especially here in Florida. You'd be surprised. That is so real.
Well, Tom, I kind of look at it like black on black crime. I see them as no different as the ones that come in our community and kill your own people. It's just another version, level of black on black crime, in my opinion. Tom, give everybody that number one more time if they dealing with any type of voter suppression.
1-866 Our Vote. 1-866-OUR-VOTE.
Hey, Tom, appreciate you coming on, man. We're going to be checking back in with you, man. Thank you so much for everything that you have done, and we appreciate everything. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up and show your love for the one and only, the legendary fly jock, Tom Joyner. Thank you, Tom.
Love you, Ricky.
All right, y'all, Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Hey, I am so excited. Today is the big day, and we are doing everything that we can to encourage all of our listeners to get out and vote. And we can see and feel just how different and important this election is. Now, the polls show that there are between 8 to 13 battleground states this year, and one of those states that Trump wants to flip is Minnesota, where the protest over George Floyd's death started. And here to help break down the importance of your vote during this election is the first African American to be elected to statewide office in Minnesota. Please help me welcome Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. Y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. How you doing there, Ricky?
Hey, glad to have you on. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've been following you.
Great to be on.
Yes, sir. I've been following you for years, and thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you. So what do people need to know when they go and vote today?
Well, the first thing they need to know is their voice. Their voice is their vote. Their vote is critical. If you're voting, great. Make sure you get your family and everybody else out to vote. That's how you can make a big difference. But one thing you can do is you can make sure that you're registered to vote. There are 21 states that say that you can vote on the day of election or vote early. You should check that out. You can generally get that information by calling your state Secretary of State.
So, Attorney General, what should somebody do if they feel uncomfortable or intimidated?
Call the Secretary of State or the Attorney General's office. If they feel their safety is in jeopardy, call the police. But if you are just being harassed and people yelling stupid stuff, then call the Secretary of State or call my office, the Attorney General, if you're in Minnesota. If you're not in Minnesota, call your Secretary of State or wherever you may be. But you don't have to put up with voter intimidation. Both the federal and state law makes it a crime to try to intimidate voters. In Minnesota, we've already taken 2 companies to court who were making plans to intimidate voters, advertising for military personnel to stand around polls. I said, you can't do that. And so we brought a case against them and they stopped. So that's a good thing. But, you got to report this kind of thing or else they'll just keep doing it.
Okay, Attorney General Ellison. Now, there's lots of talk this year about the time needed to count all the mail-in ballots. So when will we realistically know who won?
Well, you should know within a few days. By December 8th, you should know. I know a lot of folks are like, what? December 8th? We want to know earlier than that. But my point is that the law is set up so that there's a few days after the day of the election, before people can sort out all the races. Some of them are very close. Some of them, there will be recalls. In some states, there's going to be runoff. So like I know a lot of southern states, if you don't get at least 50% of the vote, you may have to have another election. So, the bottom line is most races will be well known by November 3rd, late into the evening. So stay up. You're going to know most of what you want to know by then. But there will be some things that may go a little longer. Just be patient. It's not a problem. It's written into the systems.
So despite everything that's going on, some folks still don't think that their vote matters. What would you say to someone like that?
I would simply say that, not voting is not a protest. If you think you're going to show how much you're unhappy with the system by not voting, all you're really doing is surrendering and giving it up to the people who will vote. I mean, if voting doesn't matter, how come they working so hard to suppress your vote? How come they passing all these voter ID laws, getting rid of same-day voter registration in some states? In North Carolina, they messed around with early voting. How come they're limiting the number of polling places? This is all because they don't want you to vote. Now, what do the people who don't want you to vote know that you don't seem to know if you think your vote doesn't matter? I mean, and look, I'm an African-American, right? I come from a community that was denied the vote. So I hope all of our folks know that the vote is a very precious thing. A lot of people got beat down and dogs and water hoses to try to vote.
Yes.
So for you to say I ain't voting, it's just wrong. I think it's a disrespect to your ancestors to do that.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you so much, Attorney General Keith Ellison, and we know that you're running this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, sir. And make sure everybody get out and vote. More Rickey Smiley Morning Show up next. Ladies and gentlemen, Attorney General Keith Ellison. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
This interview is paid for by Leadership Center for